welcome back, Wyoming Knuckleheads. This is another episode of Go Be Wyoming. We got a new audio producer over there, so we're giving hand signals over there. Zach, what's going on, man?
I guess quite a bit.
You have some good news.
Yeah, I had my interview today. So this is for a 6th grade history job here in town at the junior high. So I taught a lesson, a little mini lesson for about 30 minutes, and then went and interviewed, and I think it went good.
Sweet.
I feel good about it. So
yeah, well, congrats, man.
Yeah,
that's big news.
It is. So I should find out by the end of the week. Which is quick, but there's a board meeting this coming Monday, so I guess.
That makes sense.
They want to get all the hiring done before then, so they can get approval.
Get it out of the way.
Right.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah, thank you.
Well. Everyone listening, keep your fingers crossed, send a prayer or positive thoughts for Zach here.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we can keep you around. Well, this is, we kind of took a little hiatus there since spring break, which was kind of nice. It was kind of good I texted you Friday morning and I was like, you want to record? And we were kind of like,
yeah,
let's take a break.
Yeah.
But if you didn't listen to it already, I interviewed the executive director of the Wyoming Energy Authority, Glen, Morrow. Super fun. He's a great guy. Very informative of kind of that agency. If you haven't checked that out, that's 116. It's just Glen. Just listen to it. You'll figure out where he's from. He's not from here. He's not from Wyoming. But really encouraging in regards to kind of what the state wants to do energy-wise, which is great.
Yeah.
And so anyways, check that out. We did that last week instead of our regular stuff. Mm-hmm. And then most of this stuff today is actually state stuff. A lot of legislation stuff.
Yep. They're wrapping up their session down in Cheyenne. So they're getting these last couple things pushed through. So
yep. So that's what we're going to cover mostly today. First and foremost, give a shout out to DYT Solutions, one of our Cloud Peak sponsors. They're starting to grow here. They wanted. I met with Tyler today, and he's like, "Hey, remind everyone we go all over the state. Probably anywhere too if somebody's listening from outside the state of Wyoming." It's funny. He's like, they were all remote, and he's like, now my whole team's moving here. So he's like, it's good, but it's crazy. So anyways, if you need any custom digital marketing for your company or brand, DYT Solutions is the company you should reach out to. Go to their website, dytsolutionswy.com. I think they've changed some stuff around, so just go to the website, and I bet their contact stuff's super easy.
Yeah.
So give a shout out to them first. All right, first up, Zach. No surprise here. I am surprised it took this long. I guess they must have been debating the general budget more. So the general budget is in front of the governor. He's probably going to sign it. He got it Monday, I think. He's for all we know, he's probably signing it right now.
Yeah.
However, I think the shocker was, there was kind of an increase, right? We had more revenue than we thought previously from all the supplemental meetings we did in 2020.
Yep.
I don't like this, and this really drives me nuts. So we have extra money. So, and then that's probably what the debate's all about. Is where's all this extra money go? We sent more state aid to our community colleges and the university. I don't understand this.
Yeah.
This is a quote from Mark Kenner. It might be kind of taken out of context. He says, at the end of the day, what we agreed to do was increase $8 million in the general fund for state community colleges, and then also an additional $8 million in state aid to the university. I'm just confused. And Zach, this is the problem with having K12 sitting by itself, because I think they just cannot. They physically cannot take that 16 and put it to K12.
Right.
They have to use it in that general fund, which is this is the issue we've been talking about since November.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm with you there. It's frustrating because why can't you set it aside for?
Yeah.
It's not like the university's running out of money. Really?
They had no cuts from this article from KPVI.
Yeah.
no cuts were given to the university and the community colleges, and then you give them another $8 million.
Right.
What are we doing here?
Didn't we just talk about something a week or two ago where they got some money too?
Yes.
Yeah. So why? Because we have it, we're going to spend it. That's why we're in this problem in the first place.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Yeah, that's frustrating.
I just don't understand. And then I don't listen to our interview with Glen Morrow. I think he explains carbon capture really well and why it's important. But right here, another $10 million in grant money,
right,
that they approved also for carbon capture products. Again, that's $26 million that could go to K12. And we're going to talk about K12. They cut almost $30 million.
Right.
So what are we doing here?
Yeah.
Like you just said, like this is our problem, is we just keep wasting this money.
The other thing is that $10 million for carbon capture came out of the rainy day fund. So if we're going to use it for that, but not to back up K-12 education, that's frustrating as well. I mean, you and I have talked about carbon capture, and we're advocates of it.
Yes.
But we're also advocates of sensible and conservative fiscal responsibility. And this just seems irresponsible. I think it was a compromise overall in the end. I mean, that's what you have to do in government, is compromise. And so who knows what that money originally was for the universities. So again, though, do they all really need it? Maybe the local community colleges, maybe they need a little bit more than the university does. Again, $8 million. I don't know.
Yeah, I just and then here's a quote from Landon Brown from Cheyenne. You know, we're cutting services, we're cutting jobs, we're taking money out of our economy that could be respent, and we're shoving money into, you know, I think he's trying to say we could be saving that and could be just putting it somewhere else. So I'm not sure, like, is he agreeing, you know, did he like this or did he not like this? I'm not really sure from that quote, but this, you know, I don't know. I think let's move past it. I guess we got to, you know, we got to get through this legislative session. I think you and we are both going to be proponents when we get some other representatives and senators in, is kind of be like, you guys have to address this issue of K-12 sitting there by itself.
Right.
Because this is not okay.
Yep.
We just found $26 million that you just gave to other things and not K-12.
Right.
And we're talking about increase in taxes. So me as a taxpayer, I will grill you, because it's like, that's not okay with me.
Yep.
Like, you need to figure out a way to send that $30 million to K-12 when we're going to talk about some of these proponents here of K-12. That's not okay with me, and that should really piss everybody off here listening, because that, like you said, that's irresponsible. Yeah. What are we doing?
Well, especially when they're throwing around this idea of an income tax.
Yes.
Like, you're telling me we need an income tax for this? When you right here, you've spent almost the amount of money that K-12 needs.
Yes.
That again, that's frustrating too. That should anger a lot of people.
Yep.
And I'm glad that this is coming out now. I hope people are hearing this, or they're reading it and seeing it, and they're realizing what this means, and they're getting upset about it, so that they're able to say, no, you can't give us an income tax.
Yeah.
Look at this. You have the money here.
And I will say, I'll agree with people that are like, here's the good old party, right? The GOP, you know, they can never get anything done. Prime example. Right. You guys we need leadership and somebody to take a stand and say, no, this $30 million needs to go to K-12.
Yep.
You know, and if that means we extend the legislative session, that's your job, number one.
Right.
So don't complain like, oh, we're in March and, you know, which is like, well, that was your guys' choice, because you guys were supposed to do it in January and whatever. So,
yep.
Okay, K-12. This was from the Wyoming Taxpayers Association, so thank you, Ashley Harpstreet, for kind of sending this over. They still we're not close yet on this K-12 thing, Zach, as we just discussed.
Yeah.
So you've got one in the House. Well, you've got a couple in the House and then a couple in the Senate. And I think they're trying to mirror each other, so that way there's, you know, compromise and speed on, like, okay, you know, same bill. So, so House Bill 173, it's the school finance funding. So that would be that's the property tax and sales tax increase.
Okay.
So it passed the House. It has an amendment. Right here, the amendment you would cut $60 million to schools. It'd be the health insurance for ghost employees. It will divert. So this is coming out of our rainy day fund. Diverts $48 million. Okay, we shouldn't be doing that because we just had $30 million that we just spent on stupid stuff in the general fund. But $48 million from the mineral trust fund, and this amendment, and so 173 imposes a half-cent sales tax. I already said that half-cent sales tax. I do like that it's okay. The tax stops when our rainy day fund gets to a certain amount, which is like, I guess that makes sense, but it's not really solving our issue again.
Right.
And then, I don't know how to say this. Luckily, not luckily, the feds are just handing out more money. So it's like, oh, look, we got our K12 funding, but it's like, yeah, but we're not going to get $300 million from the feds every year.
Right.
So we need to solve this problem now.
Yeah.
Anyways, but
and where this $314 million came from, right? Right off the press.
Yeah.
That's where it came from.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, you have a gap in your budget? Okay, here you go. We'll print this off and give it to you.
The value of the dollar, I guess, does not matter.
Right.
So
yeah.
I feel like this one's probably going to go, Zach, right? Because it's a half-cent sales tax. We're using the rainy day fund. And then, of course, we're using this imaginary $314 million from the feds.
Right.
The other bill in the House, you got 174. I'm not real sure on that one. Sales, I guess it's probably just another sales and use tax. So,
yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
This next year, and then in 2 years after, Zach, the mid-year elections or the midterm elections. Sorry, the midterm elections. It's going to be super interesting.
Yep. And I expect people to ask some of these questions.
Yeah, absolutely.
Don't forget.
Yeah.
These are going to be tough questions for people to answer if they decide to run.
Yep, totally. Next one up. Well, let's. I want to leave Liz Cheney for the end because we got it ties in together. So
yeah.
This is big news, and I think again, this is kind of like, what are we doing? Like, this doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. The Gillette College separation from the Northwest College or the Northwestern Community College District.
Yeah.
It's moving through. So like Gillette's going to get their own college.
Yeah.
Which is wild.
Yeah. It's looking like it. And back a year ago, I was like, that'll never happen. It just won't. I'm wrong. There you go. You can write that down. I was wrong. Like that. It's crazy. And it's really all over. Gillette claims they don't have any representation on the board.
Sure.
And maybe, but whose problem is that? Like, I think you can solve that problem without having to break away.
Yep.
I think the real thing boils down to sports.
Yes.
In a sports program. So, hey, I mean, if they want to raise the money and they want to tax their people to pay for that,
yep.
Fine, go ahead.
Because it's going to be taxed in Campbell County. So
yeah, by all means, go for it.
Yeah, I don't. It's just wild to me. The thing is they're getting all this federal and state money into that carbon capture stuff. So they're quote unquote getting stimulated, but it's like, yeah, but that's not real money. Like and then the school thinks like they're getting money, and it's like, that's not real money though, guy. Like at some point, whatever. I don't know.
Right. Yeah.
In your socialist utopia there, whatever.
I don't know.
They should really just come out and say, we just want our own sports. We want our own community college to run sports. It's like, just say that.
Right. Yeah. Trying to hide under this, there wasn't any representation on the board.
You could have changed the language and got a different, like, you could add board members or something from Campbell County. It's not that hard.
Right. Did that conversation even happen?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At least not that we know of. So,
a Laramie man was charged with threatening to kill Cynthia Lemus, John Barrasso, Anthony Burchard, and Matt Gates, huh?
Yeah.
Man, he's going for that's like a hit list right there, like a bucket list.
I guess, man. Christopher Kent Podlesnik, 51, was charged last week with 7 counts of transmitting threats in interstate commerce. So, I guess he left voicemails on phones of several elected officials on January 28th, including U.S. Representative Cynthia Lummis.
And Barrasso, huh?
Yeah. So, okay. So let's
and
see.
Bouchard and Gate. Like, who does this guy like then? That's weird.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't want to. I don't know. It says, "I will blank kill you. I will." This is in his voicemail to Lummis. I guess similar messages. Let's see here.
I'm just thinking through ideologically, like that's a wide range of conservatives.
Yeah, it is, and it's not.
He has no issue. Like
it's not Liz Cheney though. Like that's the interesting thing. Like, he's not a. Apparently he's not a Trump supporter. So I think that's why he targeted those 4 is because they
Trump
came
supporters?
out or they didn't vote the way that Liz Cheney did. I don't know. Let's see here. What else does it say about him?
Where's he from?
I guess Laramie.
Oh yeah, Laramie. I said that. Duh.
But yeah, I don't know. Just weird. Doesn't say. I don't know. The FBI is still looking into it, and anyway.
I'll say this.
That's stupid.
I'll say this for everyone. He is a terrorist. That is a terrorist. So
right,
because he's probably a white man, I assume.
Sounds like a very.
So I'll get it out. That was a very Pollock name.
Yes.
I'll get out ahead of everybody and say no, he's a terrorist, so they should arrest him. So we'll get out ahead of that one. So,
don't do that.
Yeah, that's
the
dumb.
FBI is everywhere.
Yeah,
even if you're joking.
Yeah, Big Brother's everywhere.
They will find you and they will talk to you.
Yep.
And that's not a conversation you want to have. Just don't do that.
Yeah.
Be smart.
Yep.
Don't.
Yep. Big Brother, and then of course Facebook, YouTube, Google. They're right behind them. So, or maybe in front of them. So, yeah, don't do that. Man, well, I mean, whatever.
People are dumb.
Yeah. So it looks like our voter ID law might be coming through, huh?
Yeah. So it's headed to the Wyoming Senate for debates.
So cleared committee.
Yep. 4-1 through committee. And I think, no, who was it? They talk about in the article why they voted no. I think it's Senator Cale Case is the one who said no, and I think they give his reason as to why, and he just talks about some of the challenges that might come up, and they're not really clearly addressed, or they're not addressed to the level of satisfaction they want. So, I mean, say you lose your ID before you get to the day before you have to go vote. Right. Well, what do you do then?
Yeah.
I mean, if you don't have your passport or all of it, or you lost all of it.
Sure.
What do they do?
House burned down, you lose all your documentation.
And it sounds like if you don't have it, the plan is just to fall back on what happens when you go to vote anyways. They check to see your voter registration. Are you registered? Are you still at this address? Okay, go ahead and vote.
Yeah.
So I don't know what the whole issue is with, or why to even have a voter ID law in the first place. I think, we talked about when you go to register, you have to show them your ID, and Wyoming does a pretty good job of clearing out records every it's about every midterm, right?
Every midterm. Yep.
They wipe them out. So you got to go register again.
Yep.
I don't really see an issue with that problem. I guess maybe unless you just moved here. I don't know. But you can register at your polling place.
Yep.
You can do that whole process the day of at the place where you're supposed to vote. So I don't know.
I agree. I know why we're doing it because that's the conservative thing to be doing right now.
Right.
But I'm with you. Like we already have that midterm clean. So it's like, why? Like I'd already be if we just went through a big a big election.
Yeah.
So everyone registered.
Right.
So it's like, I don't, it's not necessary. Yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah.
Especially it's like, if they don't have it, then we just go back to the normal way. Then it's like, okay, so what did we just pass this law for?
What's the point? Yeah. We talked a few weeks ago about it's not the conservative way to just pass laws because we're there to pass laws, right?
Yeah.
Why are we passing this? Just it seems like that's what we're doing.
Yep.
Just to pass it.
Yep.
It's the thing. It gets Wyoming in the headlines.
Yeah. I agree. I think it's shouldn't be our priority.
Yeah. I mean, we have pretty safe and fair elections here.
Yep.
Pretty confident.
I agree.
So,
and I think because it's that midterm clean, where you got to re-register, I think that really helps kind of make sure,
right.
Because then they figure out, oh, somebody died or they didn't register, or they moved, and it's like, okay, you're in a different district. That's pretty simple.
Right.
Yep. Yeah, no, I agree.
So I don't know. It's pretty interesting. I'm talking with my 8th graders right now. We're getting into Reconstruction. And so, talk about literacy tests and poll taxes. And I gave them a literacy test yesterday.
Yeah.
And I sold it as like, this is an actual test, so you need to try. And they were all freaked out, but it was pretty funny.
How'd they do?
Oh, I don't really know. I didn't really look to it. I did like pick a couple of them and put them under the doc cam and start grading them, but just to show them how subjective, the grading process is for those things.
Yeah.
And, but anyway, we were talking a little bit more today. I was like, there are voter ID laws out there. People are talking about them. And so I had them discuss, well, is there any similarity? Or do you see a voter ID law maybe ending up somewhere down the road, being like a literacy test or a poll tax? Because I think that's what a lot of people are afraid of. And when they say voter ID laws are racist, I think they should be saying they could end up being racist.
Yep.
Right?
Absolutely.
They're probably not racist from the start.
Yep.
You have an ID, unless I guess you just never learned to drive and never, went anywhere in your life, then maybe you don't have an ID.
Yep.
But there was a good conversation that we had with the 8th
no, it's good.
About it. So,
and that's, I think you're right. I mean, they could, right? I mean, and that's, I think that's where you throw the argument too of like a COVID passport.
Yeah.
Because then Florida, he axed the Newsom axed the counties were thinking about doing a whole list of vaccinations. I want to see your whole list of vaccinations, and it's like, no, because then now we can get down the same road of like, okay, but then it's going to be what's next, like where you went to school, like what your education is, where you're from, what church you went to, like
how many guns you own.
Yep, that's a slippery slope, and so he acts that real quick. And I think he should probably stay on the stance of we don't need a voter ID law. There's other ways. Wyoming has a great system. It's like just fix that system before we talk about voter ID. Yeah, no, that's good. That's good stuff. You got to have those conversations. Before we jump into Give No Ground, I want to give a shout out to Jess Hattervig at ERA Carroll Realty. Jess has been a sponsor from the get-go. So if you're looking to move out here to northeastern Wyoming, okay, you're looking to buy a home or buy property. Right now it's pretty much property and you got to build a house. You need an expert realtor. Property's going quick. So you need to call Jess 307-751-6924. Or if you're looking to sell your home, you want to retire early, go live in the Florida Keys, you need a realtor to help sell your home. So give Jess a call again, 307-751-6924 at ERA Carroll Realty.
Another sponsor that we have for today's episode is Sheridan County Title. They offer a better service for a better price. Ask for the best title service that has been serving Sheridan for over 50 years. Give them a call at 307-672-6478 or visit them on downtown Main Street. It's South Main Street, close to the courthouse.
Yep, downtown Main Street there. And our last one is Alpha Graphics of Sheridan. They offer all printing needs for any business or brand. If you look above Zach there, that canvas sign was made by Alpha Graphics. They've done our business cards, stickers, all that good stuff. They also can help you with web design, social media marketing, so kind of that digital side. They're also on North Main, so just north of town. Give them a call, 307-674-6277. That's Alpha Graphics of Sheridan. As we said, I will say, Zach, people got a kick out of when we're like, hey, this is our give no ground part. So this is our opinions. If you don't want to hear it, you can leave now. If you stay and you don't like it, well, that was on you.
Right.
So you can, it's not going to hurt our feelings, but, anyway, so this is our give no ground. So today's give no ground, let's talk about Matt Getz, and Liz Cheney first.
Yeah. Oh, man.
So if you remember, Matt Gaetz is the guy, he's the representative out of Florida.
Yep.
And he came out and attacked Liz Cheney when she voted to impeach Donald Trump in the House.
Yep.
He even came up to Cheyenne. He's supporting Anthony Bouchard to run against her, it
was big
news.
Production.
It was a big old thing. So now, Mr. Getz, man, I keep screwing that.
Yeah,
Mr. Representative Getz.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say he's under investigation because that is false.
Yeah.
I think because the
part of an investigation.
Yeah, because the DOJ and the FBI have not commented yet.
Yeah.
If he is under investigation.
Right.
So is he a victim of the Me Too movement, as the conservatives say? Let's just run down the facts.
Yeah.
So Daily, I got a lot of my stuff from Daily Mail because they did a really good job of like timeline of like, how did this happen? So there was a DOJ, / FBI investigation into a dude in Florida, and he has been charged with trafficking and sexual misconduct. Okay. Yeah. He has been charged. That's no discussion about it. I can't remember the guy's name.
Yeah.
That's over and done with. Now, Getz is saying an ex-DOJ official who's now an attorney somewhere else in Florida is trying to blackmail him and say, hey, if you don't pay me $25 million, I'm putting your name in, we're going to smear you and say you're part of this guy's ring. Okay. So that's what's happening. And Getz, the Times came out and said he is under investigation.
Yeah.
Okay. That's not true. He's, like you said, he's maybe possibly a part of the investigation.
Yeah.
And the reporters are kind of spinning back and forth of like, oh, well, we can't say because we don't want to,
Right.
And so it'll be interesting to see.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where it stands. And then, Getz is saying his dad and him have proof. They've got audio recordings of this dude trying to blackmail him.
Yeah.
They've got the messages. He claims that they're working with the Florida FBI office.
Yeah.
So and then Matt Getz even says the attorney's name. So it's David McGee, who's the supposed ex-DOJ official.
The one blackmailing him?
Yep, supposedly. Okay. Yeah. So the original reporter from the Times is like, nope, that's not who it is. Yeah. He doesn't even work for the DOJ. Right. But it's like, well, yeah, that's how blackmail works. Like he's not there anymore. So so it's interesting.
Yeah, it is. And so I'll say the first news I got of this was on Twitter.
Yep.
Somebody had tweeted a picture of Liz Cheney sitting next to her father, Dick Cheney. And the tweet was, I'm not sure who leaked the investigation, but I have a pretty good idea. So I was like, wait, what? So then I started looking, and of course, the first headlines that come up are New York Times and the Washington Post and the Washington
He's
Times.
Under investigation for human trafficking.
Right.
Yep.
And so I was like, what the heck? So I started looking, and then I texted you about it, and then I was like, you know what, whatever. But yeah, like you said, he's part of it sounds like he's part of this investigation. He has been for some time. And we're just now learning about this. I mean, the FBI doesn't publicize these things.
Yes.
That ruins the whole point of an investigation.
Yep.
So somebody leaked it, and then that joke on Twitter, I think, was being facetious and being funny.
This investigation that got the guy that's been charged, has been going on under the Trump administration. Yeah. And under Bill Burr, the Attorney General. So of course, Matt's probably been involved. I mean, he's been a representative. It's funny because like they show a picture of him with this guy back in 2017, which I'm like, okay, that doesn't prove anything. Like they probably ran into each other, which makes sense. He's a representative. The guy was a big businessman. So it'll be interesting to see. I'm curious. The FBI and the DOJ did not make any comments.
Yeah.
It's
they probably won't.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I will say, because I follow Tim Kennedy, human trafficking is a real thing. So if he is a part of this, he deserves to get put into a cell like the dude that we all joke Hillary suicided, Jeffrey Epstein.
Yeah.
So anyways.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with that. So
we bring this up because Liz Cheney was out here showing off the carbon capture to the chairman of the Energy Committee from the House. So she was out here showing them all about carbon capture and all that stuff. So my big comment to all those people that are like, Liz Cheney should step down. Where do you stand now?
Right.
Is Matt Gaetz your guy?
Right.
We're gonna sit on the Matt Gaetz train and the Trump train there.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. If we're being consistent,
Yeah,
I mean,
just saying.
she's continuing to push for these values. So
just saying.
Keep that in mind.
But we'll keep an eye on that because there's that tie to the Wyoming there. That's
Yeah.
I know he's a Florida representative, but
right.
Okay. Last thing, I didn't know this was a thing. I guess I just don't watch the news enough to care. So obviously, Governor Gordon, Wyoming, lifted the mask mandate.
Yeah.
Where was this article from? This was from this is U.S. News talking about Wyoming, and they're like, it really just says, we lifted the mask mandate, and then they quote Biden and the CDC director, like,
right,
this is no time to relax.
Yeah,
it's not. I think everyone in this room is vaccinated.
I'm not yet.
Oh, God damn it, Zach.
Yeah, I know.
Come on, dude.
I'm not doing my civic duty to the rest.
2/3 of the people in this room are vaccinated. Does the Biden administration and the CDC think we're dumb?
Yes.
Like, really, we're almost in April, and you're like, oh, this is no time to relax, guys.
Yeah.
No time to relax.
Right.
Half of the population's got vaccinated.
It's insane. I mean, the CDC is still trying to push this narrative of there's a spike. Like it's too dangerous right now. There's a spike, and it's insane. Where the last report I heard was that it was actually a day before I heard the same news company say hospitalizations are decreasing, COVID numbers are infections are decreasing, deaths aren't skyrocketing. And then the next day, the same, they're reporting, nope, there's a spike, there's a surge. We need to be wearing our masks. And there's a thing with Biden, and it's just so dumb. It's pandering, is what
it is.
It's just like, we need to wear our masks, and we need to pull together, and we need to be a patriot. This is what wearing a mask makes you a patriot. It's like, no, it doesn't. Screw you, dude. Screw you.
Yep. Same with wearing a MAGA hat does not make you a patriot.
Right.
That's the same thing.
Right.
If you don't see those things are the same thing, then whatever.
Right.
I mean, remember Johns Hopkins said by April we will be over 50% globally will be vaccinated.
Yeah.
Anyone under 16, which is weird, Pfizer is starting to say people under 16 can get the vaccine, which makes sense because they're getting paid by the feds to produce a vaccine. But I'm going to trust Johns Hopkins because they're an independent entity.
Yeah.
And they said by April we're fine, which we are because everyone's vaccinated. Everything's opening up. There's no spikes.
Yep.
I think we should fight back and our youth should not have this until we know what's going on with it.
Right. Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, I just don't. Why are we continuing to listen to the CDC? They have never been right once on this whole thing.
Yep. Yeah.
Not
they still don't even really know where this started.
Yep.
There's still debate whether or not it's those wet markets in China or it's the lab in Wuhan.
Right.
There's still no real. They don't know. The World Health Organization doesn't really know.
I don't trust
the CDC
those suckers.
Really doesn't know. They don't know, or they do, and because they're working so close with China, they can't say.
Yeah. Well, there has to be because China didn't let anyone in, right?
Yeah.
We're not going to know because they're a communist country. They can do whatever they want to their people. So it's like you're not going to get anyone to talk.
Right.
They're going to we know they falsified their information. So it's like we're not going to get that straight answer there.
They're not going to let you talk to anybody. They're not going to let you in if you have a camera.
The lab's closed. You're not talking to anybody. Yeah. So I mean, but let's not talk about that.
Right.
But anyways,
right.
Good on Governor Gordon. I just want to say, wear your masks if you want.
Yeah. Yep. If a business has asked you to wear a mask, that's their right as a business to do so.
Yep.
I saw something interesting. I think it was in Texas. I think it was a Texas Rangers baseball game.
Okay.
They opened the stadium up. No,
yes, sir.
No restrictions. Anybody can come in, till it's at capacity. They had less people than they thought would show up. But the takeaway is people are deciding for themselves whether or not they should attend these events.
Oh, wild.
Who knew we can decide for ourselves? Who would have thunk it?
What a weird concept.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Well, and I saw the Baylor women's basketball coach after she lost. Did you see her comment?
No, I didn't.
Because the women's are playing their tournament. The Final Four in the championship is in Texas. And she said that the NCAA should stop testing because they keep testing every day for COVID. And then obviously, if a kid tests positive, then they, are quarantined or whatever and can't play.
Yeah.
She said, screw that. She's like, are you kidding me? She's like, you're going to have, because one, we didn't have a tournament last year, didn't have a season last year. Two, you get to the biggest event of their collegiate career and you're going to stop them if they get tested positive.
Right.
She's like, that's dumb.
Yep.
She didn't really say it's dumb, but she's like, they should just not test. She's like, that's the most ridiculous thing. And I support her for that. And I think she can get some backing because they're in Texas and the governor can say, like, yeah, we're fully open. Why should you guys keep testing?
Yeah.
That doesn't make sense.
Absolutely.
And then he should say, because then the NCAA is all about money, we can let fans in.
Yeah.
So it's all about the money. Talking about big events, give a shout out to the Wyoming Rodeo here at the end here, Zach. 2021, Sheridan Wyoming Rodeo is on.
Heck yeah.
I think it rides again, I think is what the slogan's going to be.
Nice.
If you are a season ticket holder or a Gold Buckle member, your season ticket holder, obviously, on the website, you can start purchasing on April 9th at 7 a.m., I'm pretty sure, Mountain Time.
Okay.
Yep, SheridanWyoRodeo.com. And then for the public, April 24th. So, I'll say these are the Go BYO tickets. We are season ticket holders, so we will be purchasing those for the rodeo. And then, April 24th, and reminder, April 24th, that's a Saturday. You have to be at the Wyoming Theater to pick them up in person, remember. Okay. And then online, it'll start on the 26th, so the following Monday. So,
okay.
So anyway,
so if you really want those tickets, you got to go in person.
Yep.
Okay.
Stand in line, and it's a fun time. That's how I got these tickets. Is I stood in line, and you get to see everybody, and it's kind of cool. It's a cool little event.
Yeah.
So, and then people out there that aren't in Wyoming or haven't come to the Sheridan Wyoming Rodeo, get your tickets, man. Come out here. It's a freaking fun time. This is gonna be the
year to do it.
It's
people are jonesing for it, so it's gonna be so much fun.
Sheridan's gonna blow up.
Yeah.
But anyway, so yeah, Wyoming Rodeo's on. And that's kind of all, Zach. I want to give DYT another pitch there. If you need any digital marketing solution, design work, I don't think I mentioned that. They can do designs for your logo, for logo or whatever you got going on. And they also offer product pictures. They've done that for some of our stuff too. That's always a big deal. If you sell something, you need to take good pictures because everything's online. So DYT Solutions, again, that's designyourtechwy.com. Zach, that's kind of all we have today. Nice and short.
Yeah.
But we covered a lot of stuff. And we'll catch everyone next time. Look at that.
Yeah.